Wait. So the one thing I want to back up. So
yeah,
my mom came over today, and our cousins are in town. So they went to Pantages Theater to watch To Kill a Mockingbird yesterday afternoon. Sold out, slammed. We went to Elton John, sold out, slammed. Then our cousins went to Blackpink, which is K-pop, at Bank of California Stadium, sold out, slammed. Then they told me today there was the Martinez brothers at the Coliseum, sold out, slammed.
Yeah.
So Jay Powell needs to get to work.
I get to work.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to group chat. You got me and Anand today, and we got a hot lineup.
A lot of topical news.
I mean, there's just no shortage at all. We have a little bit of a recap of your weekend. You went to a very dangerous event.
Mm-hmm.
I saw actually clips about this event on TikTok because there was so much violence happening, and so I'm just curious how you're feeling, if anything happened, how you made it out of there alive, and just get a recap of how it went. And then we're talking about ComplexCon, which happened this weekend in Long Beach, and it did not disappoint. I think that there was some news, and then there was one bit of really big news.
And we're breaking it.
We have our journalists live on the scene, caught it all on group chat camera. And we're going to get a whole recap of exactly what went down and why there was absolute pandemonium on the floor at ComplexCon. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, we have to talk about a lot of news. There's Disney news. There's Elon Musk news, of course. World Cup news. Some unfortunate news out of Colorado. We got a lot to talk about. And don't forget, Tuesday, December 6th, West Hollywood, we are doing a group chat meetup. Guys, give them the details. Any details I'm missing? I know I'm missing something.
RSVPs in the Instagram bio. It's going to be a networking / holiday party. We're doing a white elephant, so come ready to bring some gifts and have a good time.
Or your time, right?
Yeah.
Like, bring anything, right? You bring a gift, bring your time, bring some sort of trinket, bring anything you want. Holiday spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. We'll see you there. Anna, you ready to get into it?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Hey, Anand.
What's going on?
You're a rocket man, huh?
I'm a rocket man.
Okay, so you were saying you went to the Elton John concert, right?
Yeah, last night.
Was that at Dodger Stadium?
It was at Dodger Stadium. So he did Thursday night, he did last night, and then he did tonight, which is apparently the end of Elton John live shows.
Oh, forever.
It's the farewell tour.
Can I tell you the only thing I saw, the only reason I know Elton John was performing?
What's that?
I was just on TikTok doing my weekly TikTok binge, and I saw a TikTok, almost like a true crime TikTok, all about how someone's parents got jumped in the parking lot at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Come down. So I'm glad you're there.
Yeah, Dee texted me. I heard Elton John was like a rap concert, and
really?
I didn't understand what he was referencing.
Yeah.
And then I got videos of this older couple that apparently got jumped. I could tell
the last place you expected. Not Dodger Stadium. You expected in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium. I'm sure there's been a lot of beatdowns in that area.
Absolutely.
But not Elton John.
No. And I could tell you my experience was very smooth. So I'll give you kind of a little background. We got tickets to the show, and then I realized the USC-UCLA game was going on at 5 p.m.
Yep. Oh.
And Elton John goes on at 8:15.
Yep.
So we went early, and shout out to Omar Miller. He got me into the dugout club at Dodger Stadium so I could watch the game and enjoy. vegan Dodger dogs, and Amanda had regular Dodger dogs and nachos and, the whole spread. It was
That's
very
great.
nice.
Yeah.
And so we get there probably 5:30. The lines were insane.
Really?
To get in. Everywhere to get into any level of the stadium. Yeah. I mean, this guy brings out crowds. Like, we've all been to many concerts, but 3 hours before he's going on, there was like 20, 30-minute lines to even get into the stadium. There was no opener.
There was no opener, just straight to Elton.
8:15. Anyone could have Googled when he's going on. But at 5:30, everyone wanted to be the first to get in. And everyone had their jackets on, their glasses. It was quite the spectacle that I don't think I've seen. And we were probably 20 years younger than the average age.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was there a type? Was there a type of person?
I mean, it was white. It's like 90.
So 50-year-old white people.
Yeah, 50 to 75-year-old white people.
Yeah, got it. I mean, for the farewell, you gotta brush off the bedazzles and go see Elton.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with the crowd, how much passion they brought, and it was sold out. And this guy's 75, and he's wild. Just rocking out. And like, I don't know how old your parents are, but my mom's 74, I think, and my dad was like 78. They wouldn't be able to rock out Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. I mean, mine are 67-ish, and they're not rocking out.
No,
they're not rocking. Is he like moving around, like running around and stuff?
No, he's on the piano, but he's like thundering on the piano, singing. He's getting the crowd going. He won't run, but he'll go side to side to kind of like make sure each side knows that they're important. Yeah. And man, I guess there are a handful of bands. I mean, Mick Jagger's like damn near 80. So he's up there and he's doing it. But like, I don't know how these guys have this energy, because 2 hours plus rocking out like 60,000 people at the stadium, like, and you're 75 years old.
I just wonder who's going to be the first rap version of that. Like, there's going to be like a 75-year-old 50 Cent concert that we go to.
Yeah, you would think. I mean,
when we're 50, and we're going to wear like our wife beaters and be like, remember the time? Remember when that
similar
dropped?
To like the bedazzled suits. And I will say the production was absolutely crazy, because I think they're streaming it on Disney Plus, and I believe there's an Amazon documentary. I could get that wrong. So it was made for TV. Yeah. So the visuals were just crazy. And, despite TikTok and Twitter, I got out there safely.
Yeah. Did you notice any, like, was there any danger? Everything seemed safe and bedazzled and fun?
Amanda, like, Googled the set list and was like, let's leave, like, one song, like, second to last song.
Yeah.
She had heard all her favorite songs, and we were like, let's get out before the crowds, and walked out in peace and quiet.
So what would you say out of a 10 of expectation for that concert, not in general of all concerts, where'd we land?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a 10, because I can't believe he can do this still.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, obviously the music everyone knows all the songs, but I was marveled by the ability to control a stadium at that age. Because we all know people of that age, and I don't know anyone that could do that.
No. And how sick, if this really is the end, how cool is it to get to like go out that way? Like, not looking sad. It doesn't look depressing.
No, he was a rock star. He was an absolute rock star on that stage. And I was, I'm not like going to claim I'm the biggest Elton John fan, but I love live music and concerts. And I was, very impressed.
Wow. Good for him. What a way to go out. If it's really
apparently
the end.
A bunch of people got beat up on the way out. I didn't expect
it's just not where you would expect it. There's something in that Dodgers parking lot that just brings fistfights out of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I really didn't get it, because the crowd that I saw, I did not see fistfights. I've been to plenty of Dodger games where I was like, I got to get out of here very quickly.
Yeah.
And walking through stands, you're like looking around, like, is this safe?
Yeah.
But last night I didn't feel unsafe. And, as far as LA goes, there's a lot of things that are unsafe. And I'm surprised that it even seeped into Elton John.
I mean, if you're not safe at an Elton John concert, where are you safe? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And tonight's the last show. It's Sunday night. I mean, prayers up for everyone
Prayers
there.
up. Prayers up for everyone leaving. And then what about, we had another big event, which we didn't go to.
So the one thing I want to back up. So
yeah,
my mom came over today and our cousins are in town. So they went to Pantages Theater to watch To Kill a Mockingbird yesterday afternoon. Sold out, slammed. We went to Elton John, sold out, slammed. Then our cousins went to Blackpink, which is K-pop, at Bank of California Stadium, sold out, slammed. Then they told me today there was the Martinez brothers at the Coliseum, sold out, slammed.
Yeah.
So Jay Powell needs to get to work.
I get to work. I mean, if Jay Powell saw Hollywood, I mean, I'll tell you right now, as we speak, once again, I live really close to a well-known venue in Hollywood, and the line, I mean, all the last couple weeks, like the line has been down around the block, around the thing. There was some other little event in a parking lot that I can see out of my window, like a little carnival type thing. Line from 9 in the morning. They didn't start letting people in till like 8 at night. Wild shit. Like kids are just waiting in line. But man, if Jay Powell put eyes on that, it would be. I
mean, if Jay Powell saw LA last night, I mean, think about how distinct of crowds that is. You have a K-pop concert, you have Elton John, you have Pantages Theater, and the Martinez brothers. I don't even know what the Martinez brothers do, but I think their house. Is that right?
It sounds right. It sounds like what the Martinez brothers would do. Let me see.
And they're rocking out Coliseum. Coliseum's like, I mean, and then the USC UCLA game sold out.
Oh yeah, you're right. Who won?
USC. We won.
Oh wow.
That's how many events there were just in LA. I can't even imagine what was going on in the rest of the country.
Yeah, DJs, dance and electronic music. And none of those events are like particularly cheap.
Nothing was cheap. I know how much the K-pop stuff was. I know how much we spent for Elton John.
Yeah.
Neither of those were cheap.
Yeah.
Pantages isn't cheap. Martinez Bros, I think you probably can get a pretty penny. USC UCLA definitely isn't cheap. I know that.
Yeah. That's not a good sign for interest rates. Because I'll tell you what, man, I was trying to make a joke or like shoot a video. Or I was trying to figure out how I could integrate it into group chat content, especially because Dee despises lines so much. But lines are hotter than ever. Like I see it out of my window. There is just kids waiting in line.
What was going on?
Like one of the main things was there was a Dominic Fike concert.
I don't know who that is.
Dominic Fike is the kid that was on Euphoria.
Okay, which
cool
one?
Cool artist. He was the kind of the artist like that was in love with Zendaya and.
Oh yes,
Hunter Schafer.
Yep.
He's like a really sick artist, like a really creative, artsy guy, and he. Then he was on that show and whatever. And I think that gave him a lot of extra boost. So there was a huge line for that. Then I'm telling you, there was a line. I still don't know what it was. There was a line for some sort of like carnival thing in an empty parking lot here that was literally from, the moment I started looking out my window, there was kids. So probably 8:30 in the morning. And I'm not kidding, like kids laying on the ground. Keep in mind, like, the homeless situation around here isn't, too great. So there was like tents. There's tents down the sidewalk of homeless people. And then there was kids like laying on the ground, sleeping on a t-shirt right outside of a homeless tent at like 9 in the morning, waiting to get into whatever this carnival thing was. But lines are just hotter than ever. Kids have time. They're ready to wait.
And everyone's paying up because guess what? Elton John sold out again tonight, and that same K-pop group that my cousins are back-to-backing tonight.
They are?
Yeah, they're back there.
Oh, man. I mean, one thing I didn't realize is, not to go too nerdy straight off of that, but like, I didn't realize that in 2008, there was a rapid inflation of a debt bubble of personal credit. Essentially, people kind of saw doom and gloom coming and just spent. And obviously that's a, sad story the way that plays out, because then times get tough and you have all this debt. But there's something about kind of the way that a lot of people treat the panic, apparently, of potentially tough times.
You're saying like they're YOLOing?
They're YOLOing and they're maxing out credit cards.
So consumer debt is definitely massively on the rise.
Yeah.
That's undeniable. And I think people are just like, hey, my favorite band, DJ, Korean pop, or Elton John is in town. I'm just going to max it out.
Yeah, I feel like that might be happening. It might be like, yo, I heard next year is going to be shitty. I'm getting it in before the holidays.
I will say, I saw a lot of masks at the Dugout Club.
Really?
I think.
You think it's because it was an older crowd?
Maybe.
I wonder if there's a lot of masks at Blackpink.
I don't know.
Martinez Bros. You know where there was no mask? USC, UCLA.
No mask.
Not a mask in sight.
But yeah, USC won, and we are playing Notre Dame next week.
Wow.
And we're going to be in the Pac-12 title the week after. Chance to get to the college playoffs. So first time we're relevant in over a decade.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, we had some people paying coaches off for their kids and some deans doing really inappropriate stuff, and we fought through all of it.
There you go. You guys can finally claim your school again. Okay, so then the other big event is, and I always feel like I feel the need to say this, it's really the event that sparked group chat happening, because this event happened, and then Dee and I sat down and did a little recap of it, and that is what turned into group chat. ComplexCon was this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I didn't make it. You didn't make it, right, Anand?
No, but we have Jordan, Javier.
Luckily, our journalists were in the field.
Troops are on the ground.
Okay. Guys, do you have any recap for us? I'm hearing some...
Before we get to the biggest news of ComplexCon, what else was going on? Just give like kind of a recap of like the vibe, what was relevant, what was important, and then you could bring the blockbuster.
Drop the bomb. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely saw like the up and coming brands. Like you could see there were noticeably longer lines at some booths than others.
Anyone that stood out to you? Any cool new things we should put on the radar?
I don't know. Javier, what do you think? I know Human Made had a decent line the whole time. It was pretty long.
The Crocs are hot.
Yeah, the Crocs.
Yeah.
A ton of people bought them too. They were wearing them. I saw this sick company that like 3D printed shoes, like custom to you, and you could send them back and they'll like give you a new one whenever those go bad or whatever.
Nice.
So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, the big news.
Well, hold on. Yeah, a few questions. So ComplexCon drama, why don't you kind of explain it for people who haven't been or don't know about it?
So I think my way of explaining it, correct me if there's any errors that you see, was for a long time, there was all of these trade shows like Agenda, Magic, all of these things. And they were these massive trade shows in these big event venues, but they were all kind of B2B facing. So it was a place where brands would go show, they would show all their new products, all their new lines. You know, the huge brands would have these big presence, they'd have celebrities come, whatever. But the only people really allowed in were industry people, buyers, manufacturers, stuff like that. And so Complex kind of changed the game. And it was really Aaron Levant, I think, who did this. They said, why don't we essentially do this, but for the consumer? So same thing, massive event space down in Long Beach. All the brands go, they set up booths, some bigger than others. It's kind of, you go for it and try to have make a splash, make an impact. They have a lot of great food vendors, all that stuff. And then
it's a blockbuster event. Like I feel like Kobe was there for one of the years before he passed. Like I think it's crazy.
Yeah. They do live talks. They do everything. And the big difference is consumers are allowed in. So kids go, the companies are allowed to actually sell products. So they'll do like an exclusive release just for ComplexCon. People will wait in lines. It's a really good way to get a real life view on what's going on in the world of whatever you want to call this, pop culture, fashion, whatever. You see who's got
it's like
lines,
the cool
who's got
kids.
excitement.
It's the cool kids, right? That's kind of the way to explain it. And so my first question before the bomb, was there any brand that you saw that stood out that the kids were wearing, the cool kids were wearing?
I mean, just the typical ones, a ton of Off-White.
Still,
I saw a decent amount of Yeezy. Yeah, I mean, nothing that you wouldn't expect.
Crocs, a lot of Crocs. So a lot of the, you know what I feel like? This is my theory. I'm curious, youth, what you guys think about this. But like, I feel like when I was, in my early 20s, like these brands built, like you were like you were a Diamond kid, or you were a Supreme kid, or you were this or that. And so you really built like these little armies if you were a brand, where I really feel like the people that are winning now are like, it's like Crocs, or it's like these bigger brands, because everyone has access to the same content, the same marketing, the same whatever. So you tend to have, Off-White, Supreme is still huge, Crocs. You kind of have like everybody wearing everything, and not as much like, the cult following of whatever, whatever brand. Does that seem accurate, or am I just old?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I also saw like a lot of custom pieces. So I feel like they had like their one standout piece, whether it's like the Off-White or the Crocs, and then just like a lot of custom clothes that maybe they sewed at home. Just like aspiring people that want their own clothing brand.
So you're wearing a beanie. Was a lot of beanies and hats?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah,
a ton. People in full like trench coats, puff coats, 75 degrees.
And
I was wearing a sweater and I was hot as shit.
Ski masks are still hot.
Ski
masks are hot.
Yeah, I think COVID guy gave everyone a pass to wear ski masks in public. And they just never let it go. It's like, all right, we'll let go of the surgical mask, but I like wearing my ski mask around.
So drop the bomb, Jordan. What happened? You sent the video.
Show us. We saw. Okay, so let me tell you what we saw quickly. I just want to hype it up a little more.
Well, let me give some context first.
No. That's all I'm going to say. We just saw a video and a photo from ComplexCon that even us, after all these years, were like, holy shit.
Yes.
There was some news. What was it?
So to give you guys some context, there were a ton of like maybe like B and C grade celebrities. Like Shane O'Neill had like a skate booth, and like Yuto, who just won the Olympics, he was there skating. I saw Kyle, who made the song I Spy with, I think, Lil Yachty, Nav, the list goes on and on. And there were probably only 15 people like huddling around those celebrities, maybe 15 people. So super small. So I leave probably like 5 to go to the bathroom and sit down for a minute because I was tired. And I hit my homie up and he was like, hey, I'm at this booth. Come meet me. I walked back downstairs into the convention center.
This is what time?
This is 5:30. So within 30 minutes, he got there. It's absolute chaos. I can't walk anywhere. There's phones out.
Did you know like it was a celebrity? Obviously, you saw the phones.
Yeah, like I knew it was somebody. I had no idea who yet. And so I kind of like walk up to like the back of it. And I asked this dude, I'm like, yo, like, what's going on? Who's here? He was like, I don't know. Like, apparently Kanye. I was like, no fucking way. So I just stick around for a little bit and I see Kanye poke his head out of this vendor thing. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this is fucking Kanye. He's here. And he, like, security was going crazy. They were freaking out, like pushing people, trying to get people out of the way. And I noticed like they're trying to make a path right towards me. And I was like,
does Kanye have his own security as well?
I don't think so. Like there was so much going on, I couldn't even tell because I was trying to look.
He just drove down to Long Beach.
Yeah,
check this place out.
But so I see him clearing the way towards me. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get such a good video. So I pull my phone out. He gets so close to me, and it's absolute chaos. Like I wanted to get the fuck out of there. Right after I sent you guys the video, I dipped because it was like a mosh pit. Like you would think we were at a concert, front row in a mosh pit, people pushing everyone, security screaming, telling people to get back. I saw some kids falling. So I just got my video and ran.
So I'm curious, and I'd love everyone's take on this. Is this people just trying to get the content for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for the car accident that's happening currently, or they just have Kanye worship?
No, Kanye is not canceled to the youth. Like, they were freaking out, screaming. Everyone was starstruck. I mean, I'm not rocking with him right now, but like, my heart was racing. I was like, holy shit, he's right here. 2 arms reach from me.
I just have a question. There's a question that came to mind. What do you think would happen if Donald Trump walked into ComplexCon?
I think he would be celebrated.
Like, do you think that it would be like a similar situation of like a mob of people trying to get photos?
Yeah, because the Nelk Boys had him on, and like, you know, I think people just want the chaos. And
I'm just curious, like, is this mostly that like, oh my God, it's Kanye, I love, my dark twisted fantasy? Or is it just like, oh my God, this guy's like not human anymore? Like, it's just like, whoa, like the guy.
Yeah, that's my
about.
point. Like, that's what I'm trying to, like, he's obviously top few people in the world that everyone wants to like have curiosity about. Like, what is he doing? What's he going to do next? What is he like? Is he going to do something crazy? And I got the first TikTok, or are they like, I can't wait for the next Yeezy drop. Yeah. That's what I'm really curious about.
I mean,
but you guys feel like
he's there.
Yeah. You guys feel like the youth just doesn't care.
They don't care at all. They think he's right. They're on his side.
That's scary.
I've seen a lot of TikToks. I think, to your point, Anand, you made a good call on the Chappelle thing. I think Chappelle was kind of, enabled his views. Like, I think that there's a little case brewing that he's like right in some way with people who just don't know any better.
Yeah, and I think it's so irresponsible and scary, and I think it engenders hate. It engenders just social prejudices that people shouldn't have. Yeah. And these people with these platforms, unfortunately, don't understand their reach. Like, the fact that Kanye is being celebrated by the youth after what he's done means the youth thinks he's right.
Yeah. Or they just don't care. It's on some like, oh, he's fucking crazy. He's sick. He called out Jewish people.
I mean, I don't know. Kyrie Irving's getting a lot of support now too.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a little, yeah.
I think it's pretty scary. And then, I don't want to go down bad news, but then in Colorado, there was a shooting at a gay nightclub and 5 people died.
Do we know, just because I purposely didn't watch it because it's just so depressing. Do we know, was the shooter like, was it a hate crime? Do we know?
I mean, we don't know for sure. Because,
of course you would assume, but I'm
assume,
curious. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like these things have consequences. Like, the way Kanye and Kyrie have acted have consequences. And it doesn't matter that the youth thinks it's all a joke, and whether they believe what he's saying or not. Synagogues and Jewish places of worship had to increase security because of them in the last month. Yeah. Schools.
I'm really curious what's happening. Like, I would love to know what's happening, like, in the college world. Like, even if it's in a joking way, which is still unacceptable, like, are Jewish like kids seeing like taunting and stuff from other kids? Like, I wonder, you would think so.
Yeah, I would think so. And maybe not at like USC, maybe at like, I don't know, name a school that's not on the coast. I'm not going to call anyone out, but we can kind of envision the names of the colleges that probably would have that sort of hate. And it's scary. I think, I don't know. That's really frightening that Kanye had that kind of support at ComplexCon.
Yeah.
And the way Jordan's describing it is not about, oh, I just want to catch, the crazy man and get it on video. Yeah. It was more like the worship. And
that's why I was pointing out Trump. As I was saying, I think if Trump walked through there, it's not that anyone necessarily supports him. It's that, like, whoa, like, I mean, look, if I saw Donald Trump walk down this, like, wherever, I would be like, what the fuck? Like, I can't even believe that's a real human. Not that I would run up and, be crying and taking pictures, but I could see if that was the reaction. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But then did they have to escort him out? Is that what ultimately happened? Do we know?
So I guess he had to be escorted out because it was too chaotic. That's what we heard.
Yeah. And we don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was also they don't.
Yeah, they don't
support
want to
his
be
views.
represent with his brand, right?
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, I would think their sponsors probably would be pretty disappointed if Kanye was affiliated with their brand.
Yeah. Did the storm, like from what you saw, did it end pretty quickly? Like was it like chaos, and then they got him out of there, or like was he walking around?
He was walking around. It was going on for a while.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like he was walking around ComplexCon, just a mob of people following him everywhere.
Like, do you think he told anyone? Do you think he just drove down there and hopped out of the car and walked through?
If I had to guess, he just drove there and showed up. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, because also if they were prepped, I just don't feel like it would have went down like that. Like I feel like they're ready for, they know that maybe not Kanye, but they know anyone could show up. They got to be ready.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that the other celebrities you just said only had like 15 people around them.
Yeah, because that crowd's pretty primed and ready, man. But when it comes to Kanye, especially, I mean, at this moment, there's always these moments like Donald Trump was the most famous person in the world for a long time. Andrew Tate had his little run. I'm not saying he's the most famous person in the world, but you get it. I would say right now, Kanye West is probably, maybe other than Elon, the most famous person in the whole world. I would say Kyrie's
up there too now.
Yeah.
Do you think what would happen if Kyrie walked through ComplexCon?
Well, I don't even want to know. All these little anti-Semites.
Yes. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how much support you see on the internet for people that are just so uninformed.
The internet's just made for that. The problem is like the internet is made to try to swirl up a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories are the hottest, thing in the world. I think we joked about it. I one time, not that long ago, saw a conspiracy theory about how Rob Dyrdek must have some sort of control, some sort of secret on MTV with how much they play ridiculousness. But it was serious. Yeah. It was like, is there some pedophilia going on at Viacom? Like it was like something so absurd, but it was someone being dead serious because they play ridiculousness all day long.
Yeah. I mean, the way that internet and social media has gone, and we've kind of joked about this, is like, I miss the gatekeepers. We had 4 channels of news, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Walter Cronkite, Tom Brokaw, and they just tell us the news.
Yeah, there was something to that. I'm not saying, I'm not saying it's better, but there was something to. This isn't the answer.
This is not the answer.
Yeah.
Because now everything's chaos. No one believes anything.
I mean, the amount of tweets or TikToks that I see of people making a case for Kanye and Kyrie and what they said is like, it's a lot. I see more of that than I see anti-Kanye at this point on my TikTok. And I swear I'm not watching them. It's just giving it to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Chappelle was the perfect example. He did it in the most like sophisticated way.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Well, I mean, he even had Jon Stewart go on Colbert defending him, and Jon Stewart's Jewish.
He defended Kanye?
No, he defended Chappelle.
He kind of joked a lot about all that stuff.
He joked about...
Yeah, he was talking about Kyrie and them too, and he was joking.
He was just like, we should bring the conversations to light because we need to educate them. But what he doesn't get is all those kids at ComplexCon believe now Jewish people are in the wrong in corporate America. That's what the disconnect is.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Because I want to be careful not to say for sure, or at least maybe I'm just hoping that they don't all agree with it. I'm curious. Like, I wish I could understand what portion of the group thinks he's right and thinks he's awesome, and what portion just, was blown away that Kanye.
So if you think about it this way, there's, I think, 7 million 8 million Jewish people in America?
Yeah.
So there's 350 million Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So the average person's not interacting with the Jewish person, right? Just math.
Yeah. Yes. I was just trying to think about that, especially like That's even in our world, in the middle of the country, few and far between.
Right. So you hear this rhetoric, you've never even interacted with the Jewish person, and you have the most famous people saying this rhetoric.
Yeah.
Your mind starts wandering like, oh, I don't know any Jewish people. Maybe there's something going on.
Yeah,
like, I mean, this is why there was a mob at ComplexCon for this fucking fool.
Yes. And here's what else I think is crazy is, and I want to tread lightly here, but even if you live in LA, even if you know Jewish people, maybe like there's very few people that knows how the industry actually works, like the media industry, the music industry, the whatever. And I would say we have a pretty good idea, right? So I would say we're in the like super minority of people who actually kind of understand how those industries work.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I'm saying is, even if you know Jewish people, but you don't know how the industry works, it's very easy to be like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's ran by some secret group of Jewish people. I don't know. I've never seen a contract. I don't know what Kanye's contract looks like. Whatever. And I think that's the scary thing, because us, as knowing how the industry works, we know that is false. There's not some secret cabal of Jewish people that is running the industry and trying to fuck a certain group of people. That's just not happening. But if you don't even, I have friends that live here that, not that anyone's necessarily said this to me, but like live here, are around Jewish people, but they don't know. For all they know, every studio exec, every music industry exec is Jewish because that's what they've heard. And there could be some meetings or some things there could be some agenda. These people don't know. And so if that's all you hear, and you hear it from someone like that you look up to, yeah, it's so fucking dangerous.
It's so dangerous. And
did that make sense?
No, it does make sense, because I think we have such distrust for institutions at this point. I think COVID kind of broke everything, that we don't trust anything. So when you have these famous people making these falsehoods about industries, people are like, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
No, and it's easy to, the thing that's fucked up, one of the really fucked up things he did was when he made that list of all of the like big execs and attorneys and stuff that were Jewish, and he started reading them off to the paparazzi. I don't know if you saw that clip or not.
I didn't see that one, no.
Yeah, so he literally like the head of blah, 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 Jewish, the head of whatever. And like the reason why that's so dangerous is because to someone who doesn't know and doesn't know how the industry works, it just creates a narrative that like, oh, wow, I see what he's saying. Like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's really dangerous the way that some of those clips went out, and the way that I've seen people even, I mean, forget what happened at ComplexCon, the people on TikTok and stuff like that, the way people are acting.
Yeah. And I think Dave Chappelle enabled it. Like, if I'm going to be real honest about it, he enabled him to be like, he kind of led you down the path that maybe Kanye has a point.
Yeah, he kind of did. I can't really.
He kept saying, I've been to Hollywood. There's a lot of Jews. And everyone's laughing. And I'm like, you're at Saturday Night Live. Who's laughing at that? Was that
the only
a laugh
point
track?
I thought the point I thought he made that I did think was valuable was at the end when he said something about, there's a lot of Jewish people there, but something like, I've been to Ferguson and there's a lot of black people, but that doesn't mean they run the place. Mm-hmm. And I thought like that is a great point, but I do.
But but you knowing what Kanye did.
Yeah.
I know he was doing the Chappelle where he ties it all together at the end.
Yeah.
But people only hear the clips.
Yeah.
And I know what you're referencing, because I watched the whole bit. And that's what Chappelle's genius is. He talks about one thing in the beginning, and at the end it's all tied together, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's a genius. He is a genius. But it's dangerous enough to do the first part. Yeah,
you're not wrong. I was trying, after we talked about it last time, because I didn't really like digest it all the way, I don't feel like. And I was trying to think through it, and I'm like, why did it seem this way? Why are people reacting this way? Whatever. But you're right. I don't think it's rough. And I think that it's scarier.
I mean, ComplexCon is scarier than anything, the way Jordan described it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we'll see what happens.
Ari, do you have thoughts as our resident Jewish
Yes, I do.
podcaster?
So, you know, Dave Chappelle talked about, like, when he was doing the Chappelle show, he talks about how there was that one guy who laughed the wrong way at the joke.
Yeah.
And that was
yes.
the reason that he stopped doing the Chappelle show.
Yeah.
I think that is the same thing. I think there's too many people who laugh the wrong way at the anti-Semitic jokes.
Yeah.
Because instead of laughing at, like, the ridiculousness of it, they, like, think it's true. And that I think is where the problem is.
Yes.
And I think that is what Dave Chappelle should also be pointing out. But he doesn't.
And do you feel like as a Jewish person, you can, like, you feel that, like you see kind of the reaction and the laughter and you're like, that makes me a little uneasy.
Yeah. There are people who are there, like, laughing like, oh yeah, the Jews are running everything. It's like, come on.
Yeah, let me tell you something about corporate America. We are a capitalistic society. Whoever makes the most money rises to the top. And if it so happens to be a certain group, that means they're the most successful of the group. There's a reason why a lot of Jewish people run things. There's a reason why every tech company is run by a damn Indian CEO.
Yeah. You better be careful. They're coming your way next.
I know.
Wait a minute. Who's this Sundar?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we're a meritocracy when it comes to making money. No one's handing shit out to anyone when it comes to billions and billions of dollars. I can promise and guarantee you that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look.
And, like, for example, Rich Paul is the biggest sports agent, period, full stop, in sports. He's black.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Yeah, it almost feels a little like schizophrenic. Like, it almost feels a little like you're like concocting narratives out of a limited screenshot of the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just, like, I just wonder what would happen if Kanye was on a rant and then you said that about Rich Paul, like, to him. Like, would he be like, yeah, but what you don't understand is he was actually put in place by, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, think about, like, Anthony's one of the most powerful people in music. He's black.
Yeah. And there's also plenty of, like, white, you know, like, not Jewish people there too. And, you know, there's other, like, it's just not. Look, the thing that blew me away is if you listen, I don't know how he feels today, but if you listen to interviews, I've said this before on the pod, of Big Sean, he speaks about Kanye West as the owner of Good Music, the label that he was signed to, the same way that Kanye West speaks of these Jewish execs. He's that to him. And I don't know how that fits into the narrative, but anyway, whatever. Look, I get it. I'm hopefully everything goes the right way. It seems a little crazy the way that some momentum is building online and the way that some of those reactions are, but hopefully
bring back the gatekeepers. That's my call.
We want Walter.
Yeah, we want Walter and Tom Brokaw, the greatest generation.
Let's lock it down. Just tell me what's going on and let me get on.
We want
my
like
day.
4 news sources, and that's it, and that's the world, and we
Go
all
ahead.
move on.
Control us. Tell us what to think. Sign me up. Okay. You want to move on to some news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Big news. This is something that we talked a lot about this when this transition happened. And I think part of it was because I was all fired up over, I read this guy's book and he was making a big media run at the time. And we were talking about that. And I was a big fan of his book and whatever. And he's just appears to be one of the greatest CEOs, you know, of all time. Bob Iger, who was the CEO of Disney for a long time, stepped down like right before COVID. It was like right when like he kind of stepped down and then went to like help the NBA figure out how to build the bubble.
Exactly.
And it was one of those, like, almost like how we talk about Jeff Bezos. It was like, wow, like he stepped down. He probably sees what's coming. He doesn't want that on his desk. He's going to just quit while he's ahead and all good. And Bob Chapek took the place as the CEO. Anyway, here we are now, a few years later. Bob Iger's back. CEO of Disney, coming back.
Yeah, the timing is not coincidental.
Okay.
They just had a terrible earnings.
Yeah.
Streaming is a disaster in terms of widening their losses. The parks are obviously, you know, through the roof. Yeah. And Bob Iger, who's in his 70s, who we thought was just first of all, he's been rumored by multiple people that he's part of this group that might want to buy the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
So he's very close with Chris Paul, who's their star player. So there are rumors about that. And then here comes the bombshell. He's going back to the mouse. And,
do you think?
Yep.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that he was ready to be done. He pulled off at the perfect time, but like shit had trouble. And they just offered him such a crazy deal that he's like, okay, I'll come back and do my best.
So I think a guy like him, he's made so much money. I don't think it's about the deal. Because Bob Chapek, he just got a 3-year extension in July of this year.
Really?
So, I mean, I don't know if, God forbid, maybe there's some other personal reasons for him to step down. I don't know. We don't know anything at this point.
Yeah.
But did they just see the writing on the wall that, like, however the company's been run through COVID and this expansion of streaming is not making it a great business? The stock was down like 15% in a single day for a company like Disney. They're not a growth tech stock. I'm used to that for my positions to just go down 20, 30, 40% a day. You don't expect that with Disney. And I think it's very telling that they went back to Iger, who's, by all accounts, like a legendary like business CEO. And it's interesting that he took the job because it looks like it's going to be, I mean, we don't know if streaming works. It's similar to like D2C, in my opinion, that D2C works to a scale, but then once you get beyond that, it's not very profitable, and no one's proven it to be profitable in streaming. So I'm curious what his like role is going to be.
I mean, I wonder if the story ends up playing out that they grow over the next, he signed a 2-year deal, it looks like. So they grow over the next 2 years, let's say. This guy just successfully like grew Disney so big, took a little break while the COVID shit played out, and then came back to get it back on track. And if he does that, it's so legendary.
Yeah. But what can he do? Because streaming's where they're mounting the losses.
Well, we don't know how poorly it's ran. I mean, you're right. Nobody has proven that it can be profitable, but like maybe it's being ran really shitty and it can just be, have less of a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's a good story.
It's a blockbuster story. It dropped on a Sunday night, and every single text thread I'm on, the article got fired through.
I'm such a fan. I mean, just because I was like, I got so into like the book, and he just seems, I'm sure there's a little, he's being shown in the best way possible, but he just seems to be fucking really, really great at his job. Mm-hmm. And it's big news. It's such big news.
Yeah. And I'm curious, what could he do with their streaming that enables it to turn a profit? Because that's what Wall Street, it's almost similar to like Meta, where everyone in Wall Street was like, stop fucking spending $200 billion on the metaverse. Just focus on your core. And Wall Street kind of told Disney the same thing on streaming.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with, once again, this will be a great business lesson. Because what do you do? I mean, from the outside, it's not obvious.
He do? Because ESPN is declining.
Yeah.
Go back to cable. Go back to gatekeepers.
Yeah.
The life was so much easier 20 years ago.
Where's Walter? Yeah, I can't wait to see how this plays out. Like I said, it'll be, a couple years, but maybe you'll see some quick movement. I don't know. It's
like
exciting.
The streaming stuff, like just from a consumer satisfaction standpoint. So Amazon has Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I've been to multiple restaurants. Many friends have been to multiple restaurants where you can't watch the Thursday night game because they don't have a fucking smart TV.
Yeah. That's annoying. That's really annoying.
Very annoying.
Okay, we'll hand it over to Disney. You want to talk about all things Elon?
Let's do it.
So, the saga continues. I think we're pretty updated on, he sent that email. You can opt in, opt out. Obviously, there's been a lot of chaos over that. He's posting memes. As always, he's always posting memes. But I think the biggest thing is he ran a poll. Should Donald Trump's account be reinstated? He said some number like 140 million or something. I could be butchering that, but somewhere I think 140 million people saw the poll. I forget how many votes, but millions. And it turned out in favor of reinstating the account. And he reinstated the account. Trump's back.
And then he's goading Trump to start tweeting.
He is. That was one of the memes. Yep.
That was one of the memes. He put like a prescription pill covering saying reinstated Donald Trump, and then a meme of Donald Trump like, oh, I don't know if I want to take it.
Yep. And then there's also there's a famous one where it's like, Jesus, is this Jesus? Like sort of trying not to break, clasping his hands, trying not to break. And there's a young woman, it looks like, bent over with her skirt up. It's a very famous meme. And over the religious looking character, he wrote Donald Trump. And then over the buttocks of the young lady, he put the Twitter bird. So essentially Donald Trump just clenching his hands, trying to fight the temptation to get back on Twitter.
I think Elon's in a mess.
You're not into it, huh?
I mean, I'm into it for the content, for the purpose of the podcast, but as someone who's accomplished as much as he is, I think this is a complete dumpster fire.
You want to know how I'm starting to feel, and I'm curious your thoughts on this as my friend, if you could give me what you think about my position, is I'm starting to get a feeling that I want him to succeed so badly to sort of prove the theory that like all of these companies got too inflated. There was too much money. There was too much fake work going on. Like, all the videos that we talk about like, join me for my day at Google. Like I have 7 matchas. And like, to me, this story is almost like the anti that. I don't know if that's fair or not, but like, it seems like at least the story in my mind is all of those people are out, trim all the fat, get down to business, stop fucking around. We're going to turn this thing around. And I want that story to play out and be true.
So I think that's happening real time in spite of Elon and Twitter. If you think about Facebook laying off 11,000 people, that's rumored only to be round one. Every private tech company is laying off people. Mm-hmm. I think if you think about a year ago, people in tech were lobbying for a 4-day work week. Now it's like, can I just keep my job?
Yeah.
So think about how far.
So you think that's happening regardless
of Elon's, Twitter, whatever you want to call
it,
shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I think he's in a mess. I mean, he overpaid by roughly $25-30 billion. Yeah. So, Elon's a very smart guy, but there's no reason that company should have sold for $44 billion. He got caught in a pickle.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about how much Snap and Facebook have gone down, why would Twitter hold value from March?
Yeah, he got screwed on that one.
Yeah. So I think he made a bad business decision, and now he's like just kind of winging it. And Twitter's going to exist forever. I just don't think he'll be the owner.
Yeah. I just want it to work so bad. Once again, I could be being a little mean here. I don't know, but I want the story to play out that all the because there's some wild shit happening on social, like the way people are panicking. Like, like he cut the lunches and people are saying like, oh, now he's trying to starve them. And it's just like, guys, like you're talking about the people that make $200,000 a year that don't go into the office anyway. Like when that stuff starts to happen, I want him to win just to be like, see, that shit got so blown out of proportion. All this complaining and catastrophizing and whatever, but maybe he's being a little bit of a dick.
I don't even think about being a dick. I just don't think he has no board of directors. He has no C-suite. And he's just tweeting his pub decisions.
Yeah.
So, I think it's kind of reckless.
Yeah.
Think about if he didn't have Tesla and SpaceX and Starlink and Boring Company that all these investors are going to make a killing on, there's no way they would have backed him on this.
Yeah.
Because they just did it as a solid, like, whatever, we made $100 billion on Tesla. We'll give them 3 for Twitter. That's pretty much what happened.
Works, isn't it fucking crazy? Doesn't this feel to you like a
home
run in the 9th?
But what is
working is that it's financially viable with him, either at the helm or with somebody that he put in place, not getting removed after following his plan.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a plan.
Like, to me, if that worked out, let's just say 2 years from now, it's viable. His plan worked, whatever. He put a CEO in place or whatever happens. It's so fucking crazy. Like, so it's like when I watch a UFC fight and I'm like, oh, you could knock him out in the final minute, like it just feels like, oh, like I can't look away. I want it to happen.
Imagine if you're a Tesla shareholder, you've got to be
you're not
a little concerned.
I think I still have a couple $1,000 in it. I'm going to write an email.
especially
in my
the number of companies that are attacking EV. It's every company, right? Yeah. Every car company.
Yeah. The lesson in like how you handle, I don't understand how anyone, and maybe he can't, and maybe it'll all add up, but like, how do you handle that much stress?
I also
he's dealing with like NASA and rockets and whatever legalities with digging tunnels and obviously the assault on EV. Like, it's crazy.
Don't you just think this is just a perfect, like, quintessential example of the curse of fame?
In what way?
In the sense that he knew how influential and famous he was and started recklessly tweeting about buying the company, and then he got caught.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I don't.
Like, do you think 4 months ago he's like, okay, if I look at Twitter's cash flow, I can fire 50% of the employees and I can reassign the data centers and I can do this, and he didn't do any of that. Give me a break.
Yeah, I agree. He just rode the momentum. And like, oh shit, I have $1 billion penalty.
He should have paid the $1 billion. He's going to lose way more on the back end.
Yeah.
He didn't do that out of ego, though. That's the curse of fame. Because now he wants to prove so badly at the expense of all his other companies that he can make this work.
Yeah. It's a good case. It's a good take. Because I agree. I think he just sort of ended up here a little bit because it was fun. It was funny.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that, man, if he just, who would have known? But like, if he would have waited to even start the same shit talking, do the same thing, but just waited a little longer, he would have gotten it for so much less.
Yes, he would have gotten it for $10 billion. That's probably what the right price is, given what Facebook's corrected and Snap's corrected. And
then I just feel like all these companies doing all these layoffs, then if he goes into that, like, hey, we're going to have to do some layoffs as well. Ours are going to be a little bit more severe, or maybe they're kind of in tranches. There's a scenario where this could have played out a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll see. The other thing that I'm wondering if could have played out better, do you have any updates? This is way out of my realm, but I'm seeing this World Cup stuff in Qatar, and I know that there was issues with the alcohol. I saw some stuff about seats being empty. Do you have the rundown on what's going on?
It appears that it's a bit of a mess. And
they just weren't prepared for it, or why was it such a mess?
I think they weren't prepared for it. And we talked about in the last pod how there's all these like effectively construction workers, Indians, Bangladeshis, and Pakistanis that are cheering for all the teams.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I think hotels and flights are empty. I think people just didn't want to go.
But why? It's the World Cup. Is it because of Qatar? Like, it's just like people don't want to go to Qatar?
I think it was that they didn't believe in the infrastructure that they had built. And I mean, we have a friend who was there for the opening,
Yeah.
and
Saw
he'll
that.
remain nameless.
Did he give you any details?
Yeah, here's the details he gave me. He was in a box next to MBS,
Oh my God.
and he said, the way people were reacting, it was as if he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. Look how they react to Kanye.
And yeah, a woman said she was going to faint because MBS was so close.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
think that turns off a lot of people from wanting to go to the World Cup.
Yeah. What was the problem with alcohol? Like,
They just about faced, I think, a handful of days before,
yeah.
and said no public alcohol sales, but you can get them in the suites. So if you're in this corporate suite, you're getting alcohol.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it and all the teams are making public stances, or a lot of the teams are making public stances. Like the US changed their logo. You have other teams standing up for human rights issues that are going on within the country. So it's becoming like a big political thing that they probably didn't anticipate. And I think that turned off fans.
Yeah.
Similarly, how we talk about, like, if you just heard everything about going to this country and all their human rights violations, if you're just an average, like, English fan, why would you go?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be like, I could get thrown in jail.
I just thought, from what I've seen of soccer fans and stadiums, I thought nothing would stop them.
Yeah, I think I'm sure the alcohol thing scared off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they're not just because they can't drink, but they're like, what else are they going to do once we get there?
Yeah.
And if you're not like a rich and powerful person, I would be concerned too.
Yeah. Okay. What a disaster.
Yeah.
It just seems like that seems like impossible to mess up. It seems like you could do World Cup anywhere on earth and fill a stadium.
Yeah. I haven't watched the FIFA documentary on Netflix, but everyone says it explains to the T why this is a massive failure.
Did you by any chance see the I Feel Gay clip?
Is that the FIFA guy?
Yeah.
I did see it.
It is fucking insane.
It's an insane clip. And he's like lecturing everyone too.
Yeah. And he said, today, I feel disabled. Today, I feel African. Today, I feel gay. And it is fucking crazy. Man, what is it about FIFA?
Yeah, then he lectured. What did he say? Like, if we look at what Europeans have done for the last 3,000 years, we have no grounds to criticize anyone else. That was basically his stance.
Okay. Great speech. All right. That's all we got.
Yep.
Okay. Great chat. No shout outs, right?
Got a shout out.
What do we got? Oh, yeah, we do. What am I?
Jordan, take it away.
Take it away, Jordan.
All right. We got a shout out from Joe Culotta to Courtney. And he says, "Hey guys, I love your show and your insight in the business world. I'd like to give a shout out to my fiance, Courtney, for getting her business to hit 1 mil in gross revenue this year.
Wow.
Nice.
She's been managing fun dance parties nationwide, especially her popular Taylor Swift dance parties in over 65 cities.
Yep.
Congrats to a new year and another million in business."
Wow. Congratulations.
Good job, Courtney.
That's awesome.
Way to create your own lane there.
1 million in dance parties.
Yeah,
These must be some fun dance parties.
Send us some video or something.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going on over there with your Taylor Swift dance parties. Okay, that's all we got. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back on Thursday. No, what's today? Today's Sunday. We'll be back on Tuesday.
Back on Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving.
Let's do it.